I'm now joined by Erica Davis, sports betting analyst and longtime NASCAR fan. And it's easy money with E because she is setting us up for the best bets of the weekend as the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Atlanta. So, what bets are on your list this week, Erica?
Well, this is my home track, so I'm super excited about this race. And if you've been keeping up with me, you know that one of my favorite markets to bet on in NASCAR is drivers' odds to finish in the top 3, the top 5, and the top 10. So this week for Atlanta, I'm looking at a few drivers whose odds I like to finish in the top 5. First up, Corey LaJoie at plus 500, where a $10 bet on him would win you a total of $60. Now, Corey finished 4th at Daytona last week, and he has finished in the top 5 in 2 of the last 4 races at Atlanta. And like I said last week, if Earnhardt Jr. is riding with him, then he must be on to something. This could be his breakout year. Corey to finish in the top 5. I like that spot this weekend. Second on my list is Austin Cindric at plus 320. Now, a $10 bet on him would win you a total of $42. He was running in the top 5 last week at Daytona before he ended up wrecking out. So we know that Atlanta is another super speedway, and he's shown that he can run generally well at those races. He also finished 3rd in this race back in summer of 2022. And then finally, my last driver whose odds I like to make the top 5 is our reigning Daytona champ, our reigning Atlanta champ, William Byron at plus 180. He's run twice in this configuration. He won in March 2022, so he's got a 50-50, 500 win rate in Atlanta at this iteration of the track. So I think that's a really good spot for him as well.
Next up, we're looking at exacta bets, and this is a new term for me that I'm not familiar with. So give me a little bit of insight on what exactly we're talking about.
So exacta bets, Kim, to me are really, really fun. This is typically the kind of bet that you see in horse racing, but every now and then you can find an exacta bet for NASCAR odds. And it's precisely what it sounds like. Picking the exact order of the drivers who will finish first and second, and in that exact order. So these odds are going to be super long because it's a really, really hard spot to predict, but it's fun and it keeps you on the edge of your seat until the very end of the race, that is, unless your drivers wreck out before. So the first exacta that I am eyeing is Hamlin to finish first, Byron to finish second. That's plus 6,500, where a $10 bet would win you a total of $660. The second one that I'm considering, Kim, on the exacta front is Byron to finish first, Christopher Bell to finish second at plus 9,000. That would win you a total of $910. Finally, the third exacta bet, if you will, that I'm looking at is the any other market. And that just means that you don't see any of the combos that you think will actually happen. That's a really, really juiced number at minus 290. So maybe considering throwing a little bit more on minus 290 so that you can win some of your money back if your other two don't end up hitting.
Well, super speedway races are kind of wild card races. It's always hard to pick one winner or even the top 2 finishers like the exacta bet. So what if a fan is looking for a bet where they don't have to choose any driver?
Well, exactly. So if you don't want to choose any driver, you can bet this weekend on there being overtime. Some books have yes to overtime. And right now, the best price that I have found is plus 150, which again, a $10 bet at plus 150 would only win you $25. And coming off of the weekend we had last week at Daytona, where depending on the subreddit that you're reading, depending on the social media threads you're reading, a lot of people think that we should have had overtime in Daytona. Well, here is your chance, guys, to throw some money on there being overtime in Atlanta. And fun fact, the last time we had overtime in Atlanta was in 2016. So could this be the year? Throw some money on it if you think so.
All right, great information, Erica. We'll see you next week as we look ahead to Las Vegas. Thank you again for joining us.